Yo, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel. You already know what time it is. It's time for another collab, and this is a big one. It's Big Steve in the building. Do you know what I mean? And I know you guys miss him a lot, not just from the Big Six, but when we used to have him on here for the Oil Boys. Those were the days. Saj, Big Steve, going at it, Champions League final. Great times, man. But listen, bro, it's good to see you back, man, on the channel. And how are you? Because, you know, I mean, it's all still rosy up in there in Manchester, on the blue side of Manchester there. So life must be good.
It's good, man. It's good. The Gremlins are they're suffering a little bit at the minute. You know what I mean? Tommy tapping Tuchel, you know, he did come right what I said about him. You know, he's never the man for the job. So this is like Gremlin therapy. I had to come on, make sure everyone's all right. All the Gremlins in my DMs and that, make sure everyone's okay. I know they're missing me and that. So, you know, big game this week, Carabao Cup. So, yeah, man, I'm good to see you as well. Smashing it now. See you on DR Sports, doing your thing and that. It's good to see, man.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. Yeah, man. We just striving for the plaque. Do you know what I mean? For the 100K, we're getting there. And yeah, for me, it is Gremlin therapy, because what I witnessed at the weekend. I mean, you guys, you win your match. Obviously, the circumstances are special with the 10 men and whatnot. We, on the other hand, we didn't even look like a football team against Arsenal. And now coming into this game at the Etihad, I am absolutely bricking it. I'm hearing about Chelsea fans who don't even know if they want to go up there. They're like, yo, if there's tickets going, do you know what I mean? And before they were bringing inflatable trophies, and now they're not even sure if they should make the trek. Do you know what I mean? Because we don't know how serious you're going to take it. I haven't seen the press conference or anything, guys. It's being recorded before the press conference. The scroll bar at the bottom will have all of the latest quotes and whatnot. We won't talk about, you know, press conferences here, but just the general feel for the game. Do you think Man City will take this seriously? I know you guys love this competition, bro.
Yeah, part of me does think he'll take it a little bit serious. I don't think Haaland will play, I'll be honest. Okay. I think he'd rather play him against Brentford at weekend. There's a lot of new players at Man City now. Gomez, Akanji, Mahrez, people like that who need to get a bit of game time. So I'm sure he's going to do it. I mean, to be honest, we need this competition. When you've got a big squad like ours, this competition does come in handy when you need to start freshen things up and change it a bit. And don't forget, we've changed our system this year. We went from the false nine to now we've got a big fella up front. And it does tell. I mean, without Haaland, we're obviously not as good. We're trying to go back to the false nine bit. It takes a bit to get used to. We're huffing and puffing. Alvarez is doing okay. You know what I mean? He's definitely not Erling Haaland, but he's doing well for a young kid coming from Argentina and be scoring goals in the Prem and looking dangerous. But yeah, I don't know with Pep. We just got to roll with it. Listen, we're 100% behind our man. You know, he could drop a Champions League stinker, play a crap team. We could get a walloping, or he could surprise us all and play Ireland and that, and then end up winning comfortable. We just go with him. You know what I mean? It's mad.
Yeah, it must be nice. I mean, you guys have got serious stability over there. Do you know what I mean? You know what you're trying to do. You've refreshed the squad. It hasn't happened the same way on Liverpool's side, maybe over the summer, and now they're paying the price. You guys, you know, you took out the Jesuses and the Sterlings, and you know, you can see maybe in those players some of the limitations or the frailties in their game that maybe led to why you guys were so comfortable to let them go to rivals or direct competition for certain trophies. But what have you made of Alvarez coming in? Because obviously we know Haaland, you know, you guys have changed your game. You've become a little bit more direct with him. We've seen it with the goals scored. When he came out the team a couple games and it was starting to look like they muscle memory and maybe, you know, just going back to old ways with the false nine, and they took their time to get back into that. And obviously they're so used to just punching the ball into Haaland, so much so that sometimes in certain games, maybe Liverpool, there were better options in Foden on the left, and they still chose Hairline because they're just trying to constantly funnel the ball to him, which is understandable because the guy's got, what, 18 Premier League goals, and it's not even the World Cup. Could end on 20, and he's missed a couple games, so it makes sense. But in terms of Alvarez, if he was to start, just how big a threat is he overall? I've seen some of the goals he scored. He's an incredible finisher. We knew that from Argentina. Yeah. Shoot with both feet. He's hitting the roof of the net. But what kind of like proposition is he on the pitch? Is he like a Gabriel Jesus kind of guy for you?
He's got the energy. He's got the Tevez energy, where he's in and around you. If there's a mistake to be made, he's on you for it. You know what I mean? Chasing the keeper down, putting pressure on the centre halves. He can pull out wide. I actually prefer him wide right, but he can pull out wide. My only little criticism of him is I think it's a bit of a culture shock for him. I think when you're coming up against teams like Leicester the other week and they're solid in 2 banks of 4 and the defending, there's not much space, gets a little bit frustrated, tries to come deep, wants to get involved in the game. Yep. When teams start to maybe try and play against us, there is that space, and that's where he does the best damage. We can get the ball into him. And like you say, one-on-one, he's pretty deadly with it. You know what I mean? He is a good finisher. Only young, though. And like you say, he's doing all right. There's no pressure there for him. You know, Erling's taking all the pressure off everybody. You know, all eyes are on him. So, you know, Alvarez can just do his business this season under the radar, get a nice season under his belt, and then hopefully next year he'll be better for it.
Yeah, and I've seen some journalists are saying that potentially Phillips could be involved in the squad. I know Pep, I think, has already had his press conference.
Yeah. Well, the people need to remember this. We signed Calvin Phillips, and he's not played, and he's like, if we can get him back fit after Christmas, that'd be like a new signing for us, because Rodri, especially last season, played far too many games. We're relying on Fernandinho business end of the season to get us through it. And Fernandinho did a really good job, and he got us over the line and he helped massive. But we should never be in that situation again. And I think that's why he brings in Phillips. And I think if Phillips is fit this season, I think you see Rodri going off at 60, 65 in some games, and Calvin comes in there and sees the game out. So if we can get him back for the Champions Leagues, last 16, things like that, get him in the Premier League when it starts getting a bit tougher, that'd be like a new signing for us in January.
Yeah, no, it will be literally, and the player is used to playing a certain brand of football, obviously under Bielsa, and he's probably going to fit in like a glove. It's literally just the injury concerns, isn't it? And you don't want to have him have a reoccurring one. So I guess it would be a shock if he started this. I don't know where he is with his recovery.
He's had his shoulder pinned. I went to the friendly in Barcelona, and he played more or less 90 minutes. Then he got a bang in the shoulder. Shoulder popped out. Apparently, it's happened to him a lot in his career. Apparently, someone was telling me that Brian Robson had the same injury, and then he had it pinned, and it was fine. So he's had it pinned. The kid's unlucky with injury. I do like him as a player. I think he's solid. I think he's a bit like the water carrier. Didier Deschamps years ago said he's the water carrier. He was the water carrier. Doesn't do an awful lot of spectacular things, but he just gets about the pitch when you need him to. Keeps the ball moving. If teams start turning it up physical, he can put a foot in. And we all know he's passing as well. He's quite good from deep. And for City, that could be a great tool, because the amount of times Haaland is making them runs, and unless De Bruyne's got it, nobody else. Rodri's not confident enough to find him. But maybe Calvin will. Yeah,
and I mean, if there's one area of weakness to cling on to for Chelsea fans going into this game, because obviously we're not coming in with great form. I think we haven't won a game in 4 now, I believe. Brighton, Brentford, and obviously Arsenal, Man United as well. And for me, as much as I rate and rank every competition and I want to win them, because, you know, I think we both speak on the same kind of tone here, is that, listen, every trophy, it could be a loss. So you go and get every single one and you don't take anything for granted, because it wasn't too long ago neither of our clubs were winning trophies like mad. But it feels like priority-wise for us, top 4 is going to be such a slog, with Newcastle coming up now. You know, Brighton are ahead of us at the moment. Liverpool could maybe respond in the second half of the season. Transfer window will open, etc. This doesn't really feel like a high priority game. And I was saying a couple of days ago that if we were to lose to you guys, I feel like I would get it quite quickly, and I would be able to move on, because I don't really feel like as if I think there's potentially 3 Carabao Cup games in January or something. Obviously you've got the semi-finals as well. I just don't think potentially we need that. But for you guys, is there any weakness that we could target that you feel like, because obviously Cancelo got sent off at the weekend, people have questioned him defensively, maybe not the greatest going the other way. What would you? I don't even know if he's suspended for this. Does that only count for the Premier League?
Suspended. They're probably going to play either Gomez at left back or Wilson Esbrand, who's a young kid, at left back. Gomez, he's come from Anderlecht. He's not. He literally plays all over the pitch for different teams. So for Spain, he plays right wing.
Oh,
Anderlecht,
really?
he was playing centre mid, and then left back, then right back. So Pep's decided he's doing his Zinchenko move on him, and he's having him at left back. So he's looked a little bit shaky every now and then. I think the demand from Pep, where you've got to transition into midfield sometimes, I think he's struggling to get a grips with that. A bit like Cancelo did early days. So that could be an avenue there if he's to be gotten at. If he plays Akanji at right back, I don't like Akanji at right back. I think you can get at him there. I think he's left exposed on the right. When he's in the middle of the park with Ruben Diaz or Laporte, I think he's very, very comfortable. He's intelligent on the ball. I think he's got a lot of time. But when you can get him, an out-and-out winger gets at him on the wing, I think you can get him there. Other than that, like you say, it depends on the midfield. I don't think he's going to change it up too much. I think we'll be strong in there. Yeah. I'd like to see young fullback Rico Lewis, the young kid from Manchester, just turned 18, scored a Champions League debut against Seville. I'd like to see him.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
I mean, I'd like him to be a bit brave and maybe play Wilson Esbrand at left back, Rico Lewis at right back, and then go for two experienced centre backs in the middle. But literally have no clue.
No idea, because you guys have obviously got one more game Premier League before the World Cup.
We've got a kid in the youth team called Carlos Borges. He's Portuguese. We beat Man United 6-1 on weekend. The kid got 4. The week before that, I think we played somebody else. He got 3. He's just collecting hat-tricks like it's no bother. This kid is dynamite. And I've got a feeling he's got one of them agents that are a bit like the Sancho situation, that he's obviously thinking I can get an early move and make a few quid. So I'd like to see him involved. I'd like to see him on the bench at least, just maybe get some minutes. I just think with the amount of goals he's scoring in the youth team, we need to give him a bit of a taste off to get his adrenaline going and get him to know in around the first team squad, so he gets that taste. You know what I mean? I don't want another situation where we lose somebody, like that. So he'd be one to watch out for, Carlos Borges.
I think we could potentially throw some youngsters in there as well. I think Omari Hutchinson is one of the ones that Chelsea fans are really excited to see, the kid we signed from Arsenal, because he's been doing very well in the youth team as well. Can go both ways. He's a left-footed winger from the right. So I think we could see him. Hopefully Lewis Hall as well is another one, made his debut, I think, against Chesterfield last season under Tuchel in the Cup. But I'm not sure just how many young players are going to play under Potter in this one. Maybe Chukwuemeka, hopefully he's back, because obviously we've got quite a deep squad. But again, the depth, is it reliable? Is it to the standard? Not really. There's a lot of players in there that you would say, like a Ziyech maybe, that need to be moved on. He could play a Pulisic, he could play a Zakaria. We could see all of these guys. There's a lot of Koulibaly's just come back. So there's a lot of senior players, like you said, that probably need minutes as well. So I worry about how many young players are going to play. But what have you made of Potter so far? Like, like you said, you saw Tuchel got sacked, and that was like my biggest meme moment there, Big Six. But then in comes Potter.
I've been consistent with Tuchel, and if don't forget, I said that about because you've been in the Champions League against us. Anything I say regarding Chelsea is always going to revert back to all Big Steve's being salty. But I was openly admitted that Chelsea deserved to win the Champions League final, 100%. You know what I mean? So there's no salt of it about it. It's more what went wrong at our end than Chelsea. But I always gave credit to him. He won it. But I just didn't see what other people seen. And I thought that Champions League, for me, masked a lot of problems. And then when I told you that game at Stamford Bridge, when I met you the night before and we went for food in London, that game, when I was so close to the pitch and I seen the way City controlled it, and I seen him on the touchline, I was watching, because I'm an old, sad football lunatic now. So I watch mad shit that people don't watch. And I'm watching him and I'm thinking, you don't know what to do here. And I'm thinking, you don't know what to do. So then I called him out and I said, he's not going to last till Christmas. He won't last. And then it slowly started. You could see the team wasn't performing for him. And then the Lukaku signing and all that didn't look right. And it just didn't look right. And then obviously the thing with Roman came out. But you've gone in a totally new direction now for me. You've not got, it's not the Roman era. You've not got that level of ruthlessness there. The new fella coming in acted swiftly. He's brought in Potter. And listen, Potter's a great manager. He's a good manager. and he's finally been given the chance to prove it with a big club on a big stage. And this is where the time issue comes in for me.
Yeah.
It's not like you've employed a manager like an Ancelotti and you're coming in and you know what you're about. It's a quick fix. It's not. It's Graham Potter from Brighton. He's got great potential, but he needs time. You know what I mean? He's probably 6 or 7 players there he don't want. They're not his men. He's probably in playing systems in some games he doesn't want to play because he's forced. And it's just one of them things. This season, you take it on the chin. You let the club settle down for me. You let everyone calm down. You let the Lukaku situation sort itself out. Like you said, there's a bit of deadwood knocking about the club where it shouldn't be there. And I think another pre-season, another couple of windows with his own people in, I think Chelsea will be back. I do. I think Chelsea will be back. I think they're just going through a bit of a madness at the minute. Great. He's under a lot of pressure. It's his first big job. He's got a new owner, temperamental owner. He's thinking, fucking hell, if I drop a few games here, I might lose my job. So I just think it's about time. I think same as what Arsenal was like. Don't forget, Arsenal could have got rid of Arteta. If Tapping, Toby and all them had had their way, Arteta had been up the road last season. But what did Big Steve say? Keep calm. Let him do his shit. It's not a quick fix. And like you say, with Potter, I think Chelsea will be all right.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea fans do need to give him time. I see Chelsea fans already saying Potter out on socials. Some of them, I think for me, it's ludicrous because he signed a 5-year contract, 12 million a year, 60 million contract. He's not going anywhere. I'd be very, very, very disappointed and annoyed if Bowie was that reactionary to pull the trigger. And he is the person that makes the decisions, not the fan base, who of course are emotionally driven. And yes, we're all hurting from the Arsenal defeat and we're hurting from, the performances recently. But at the end of the day, we know that this squad fundamentally has got some serious issues, mentality wise, as we saw on the weekend, and obviously technically as well. So it came out today as well from a source from Simon Phillips, who's been pretty spot on, to be honest, in the last transfer window. He's a good mate of mine. He said a lot of players are apparently unsettled at the club. You alluded to this last year with the contract situations with Rudiger and Christensen. Some unhappy with London and the club in general. Someone out immediately. We already know some of the older players who have been there a while, frustrated, and the staff constantly changing. Half the squad doesn't even want to engage together. And it feels like they're strangers to each other. This has been the same issue for some time now. Kovacic and Mendy, 2 players seriously considering their futures. And then when you look at the contracts that are expiring, you've got Kante's, who is demanding a certain amount of wages. He's obviously out at the moment, injured. The difference maker, if he's available, which is rare. Jorginho contract running out as well. There are a few contracts running out again this year. Aubameyang, after what he did at the weekend, I really don't like that environment of, oh, we lost a game, it doesn't matter. We can like a Gabriel post mocking us and a Troops post mocking us on social media. I don't know if you saw that. But of course, in the context of the game, he didn't get a lot of service and there's deeper issues, Mason Mount, Kai Havertz, maybe they could obviously played better. Sterling was poor. Get your take on that as well, how he's been. But more than those guys, at least they put the effort in. I don't like players that clearly are disconnected or don't understand the value of a defeat to Arsenal and just kind of shrug it off. If someone did that in a Manchester derby, I'm pretty sure, man, fuming. Do you know what I mean? It's just unprofessional and it's ridiculous. But I mean, what have you made of Sterling? Because you guys obviously gave me the down low on this player when he joined, and I was happy that he signed, but it was always under the premise of who comes in with him in terms of another attacker. Will it be a playmaker? Because I know that Sterling at City was receiving the ball in dangerous areas and someone was feeding him those balls. And if you don't have players that can spot that pass and have that creativity and that extra little edge like a Bernardo or Kevin De Bruyne, then if we over rely on him and expect him to dig us out of holes, it's not going to happen. He needs to be in a team. So what have you made of him? Is this exactly how you expected it to go?
Well, I did say on a few streams that what you're going to get with Raheem is you're going to get a lot of frustration with him because he's sometimes he can be a bit like a headless chicken. He can be he can miss some serious chances. But the thing is, with what people forget is Raheem Sterling might go through one-on-one in a game and he miss a one-on-one or a back post, he put it over the bar. But then Manchester City would pull him out the shit and we win 2-0. That happens at Chelsea now and you get beat. Who are they blaming? Sterling. If he's not finishing, or you get a draw, Sterling's missed 2 sitters there. At City, he got away with it a lot because the team dragged him out the shit. He got a chance to put it right because the chances were coming. At Chelsea, he's not going to get that many chances like he got at Man City. You look at Hairline now. He's a deadly finisher. Look at the chances. Someone did a reel of Gabriel Jesus and Raheem Sterling last season, and all the De Bruyne passes where they put them through one-on-one, back post, and all the misses they done. Haaland ain't missing them now. They're in the back of the net. So that's the difference. But I just feel Raheem could become a scapegoat there. We're having a bit of issue now at Man City with Riyad Mahrez. Riyad Mahrez seems to have took over where Raheem. Few fans always getting on Raheem's case. Now they're getting on Mahrez. Three, 4 penalty misses on the bounce don't help. But same with Sterling. I just think he's so frustrating. It was hard to call because he's a good player. He is a good player. He's 100%. You know, when he's on it, he's on it. But when he's bad, he can be bad. And I just feel that the Chelsea fans could get on his case a little bit, I think.
I get from obviously from an ownership standpoint, I think they've obviously come in, they're very ambitious, they're bringing in, you know, people behind the scenes. I do expect our recruitment to get better. This was kind of like a blind window where they sacked everybody who maybe had been a bit incompetent over the years, and they decided to just run it alone. And some of the signings, you know, Cucurella, Sterling, Koulibaly, they're yet to really kick in full flow.
See, the Cucurella deal, right? Obviously, we all know Man City wanted him. Yeah, we had the fee at 36 million we was going to pay. We'd sold Zinchenko for 30. We're paying 36 for Cucurella. That was our ballpark figure. Then for Chelsea to come in and get him
blow you out of the water,
yeah, it's like that really to me was like when I thought this owner's a bit too eager here. He's getting a little bit carried away. And it's all right doing that, but people, other rivals, it's like a chess game in that Premier League. Everyone's watching.
They see that you've got money.
Like that. You see a move like that and you think, okay, we know he's a little bit green. And, you know, agents say, hold on a minute. If he's doing that, let's get our man in front of him. You know what I mean? So that worried me a little bit. I mean, Cucurella's come in. I've not watched him. I'll be honest. I've not watched him. I don't know if he's playing well. I don't know if he's not up to it. I don't know. But I don't think he's worth that kind of money in the market. And I'm glad City walked away. We walked away. We got Akanji for 15 million. We got Gomez for 15 million. And you've just seen the results, the financials. We're well in front. The net spend's down. We've got a big bank of money there ready to go again. And like I say, we're looking good for it. But I don't know, Chelsea, I can't say it. Abanyang. Yeah. He surprised me there. I didn't think that came out of left field. I don't know. I mean, what? I haven't spoke to you for a while. I just want to know your take. Are you happy with the signings? Are you not happy with the signings?
Some of them I was happy with. Koulibaly I was happy with. Cucurella I was happy with. Sterling, I was like, it depends on the second attacker. In the end, we didn't get the Rafinha, or we didn't get the more playmaker type attacker on the other side or in the attacking 10 positions. And I felt like we do miss the final ball. We do miss the final pass. Yes, it's not on one person to create chances, but you always do look to a special player to create, you know, if you want to look to in a team like a Kevin De Bruyne, like you mentioned earlier, that's your go-to guy for chance creation. You saw it at the weekend. He was ridiculously good. Yes, other guys can create, and you guys are probably the worst example because you've got a plethora of playmakers, but we know KDB is the main man. Do you know what I mean? It's very clear. Whereas Chelsea, there isn't really a main man for chance creation at the highest level in terms of a real playmaker. So that was something that I thought, listen, we need to create more chances. It's not just about the finisher. It's why I didn't want Ronaldo, but it's also why I wasn't too keen on Aubameyang, and I preferred Jesus, because Aubameyang, when he doesn't shoot, when he doesn't get his chances and he's a service player, like we saw at the weekend, he contributes nothing. Jesus has not been firing in front of goal. You know, he still is showing those signs that he's not the most clinical finisher. But look at the response in terms of his game versus Aubameyang at the weekend. He's dropping deep. He's nutmegging people. He's involved. He's pressing from the front. So he's giving you so much more from a general play. And you can see that with the assists. You know, it's pretty even with his goals. He's contributing. Whereas Aubameyang, if you don't score, you don't get anything. And I don't want strikers that only are just there to put the ball in the back of net, because I think you can do both. Do you know what I mean?
No, Jesus, he's another example. He leaves Man City. The Arsenal fans are getting gassed. He scores a few goals pre-season. We get that. I've seen all that. Jesus is a fantastic player. Yeah. But if you ever want to tell me Jesus is going to get 25, 30 goals, he's not. He's not going to do that. But you're seeing it now. They're going through a little bit of a patch where they probably need him to be chipping in, and he's not. But that doesn't say he's playing badly. Yeah. Like you said, he leads from the front better than most. He's putting pressure on defenders. He's creating opportunities. He's not one of these strikers where, right, he's not scoring, so he's useless. Get him off the pitch. He's brilliant.
Haaland scores goals, like that's his remit, but you guys have loads of chance creators, so it doesn't matter. I wouldn't mind that scenario if we had loads of chance creators, but because we have a creativity issue or it's inconsistent how many chances we create, that's why I wanted a striker that can help with chance creation.
You won't see Haarland now pressing from the front. The goalkeeper get the ball and he'll just jog up to him, make him play it out. That's it. He ain't going to go chasing left and right. Pep's looking after him in cotton wool. He's just got to be, when that ball is a chance of getting anywhere in that box, you need to be on it. So he's concentrating on getting in front of the defender, peeling off the back defender, doing what he's doing. And like you say, it's different levels. But Jesus will be all over you. He'll be chasing fullbacks. Chris Packett's blowing across the pitch, chasing them. He's just fucking mad, mate. But that's the kind of player he is. We all know about it. We knew what Pep's doing. He got good money for 3 good players. And I say this a lot, right? Manchester City, if you ask the Manchester City fans, when we got rid of Company, when we got rid of Yaya, Aguero, Zabaleta, Joe Hart, if you'd have asked the Man City fans in a room, should we get rid of these players? Every single one of them would have said, no, don't. We've got another year. But that's why we don't own football clubs, and that's why we aren't paid to make decisions, because we're saying it with our heart. Manchester City went, no. Yaya's legs have gone. Get rid of him. Zabaleta's not the fullback for us. Get rid of him. And they've said the same with Sterling. Let's get rid of him. His market value, we've had some great years out of him. We've had some great seasons out of him. Let him go. Jesus, is he ever going to be our number 9? No, we've signed Haaland. Okay, let him go. Zinchenko, right, we're going in a different direction. He's won 4 Premier Leagues. He don't want to be a sub anymore. He wants to go and try it somewhere else. Let him go. And that's how good Man City are at freshening it up. And because we do it that way, every season now we only need to add 1 player. Maybe 2. Other clubs like Liverpool now, you look at them
a whole
now,
rebuild.
5 or 6 players they need, and you can't do that in one window. That's where they've let the ball slip.
And this is a really important point to kind of close on, is that the ruthlessness of not being emotionally attached at the top level. Fans can be emotionally attached because we don't make decisions, but in the boardroom, the Azpilicuetas at Chelsea, Azpilicueta was good on the weekend, but overall over the span of the last calendar year, for me, he's fallen off. Jorginho, new contract. He wants double what he's making. They need to make a serious decision there. For me, he should be going. Kante doesn't play enough games. Again, he wants big money. You need to make a serious decision there. For me, he should be going. Chelsea need to know when to let players go at the right time. Don't be scared. Embrace the change and make sure that you plan for the future. There were players that could have replaced these players, like Tchouaméni's on the market the year before they went to Real Madrid for 40 million, to make that jump into the next era for Chelsea. But instead of going for these players and doing your homework, and obviously this involves good scouting, which is now trying to be established with the recruitment. Joe Shields has come in. I think he was at Man City, went to Southampton, now he's at Chelsea. And there's a few other guys as well, and potentially Edwards, who was at Liverpool, who could come in the summer. That's why I'm excited for these guys coming in, because I'm hoping they're going to be a lot more ruthless. And Potter is going to have to be ruthless. I've spoken about Arteta being ruthless with Aubameyang. That's the first probably bit of credit I ever gave him, was the fact that he knew to get rid of Aubameyang there and there. No messing about. He's not professional enough for what I'm trying to instill. Pep's done the same with Joe Hart, with the players you've just mentioned. It wasn't popular with the fans, and it wouldn't be popular with our fans to get rid of an injury-prone Kante maybe, or Jorginho, or a Azpilicueta. But at the end of the day, you have to make big decisions at a football club, and you have to be ruthless, because otherwise, if you're not ruthless with the squad they'll be ruthless with you, and you'll be out the door. It's as simple as that.
If you got rid of Jorginho and Kante in the summer, minimal fees, and you went and got Declan Rice, who's young, English, plays every week, passionate, that's a step up for me. You're getting rid of 2 players that are coming to the end, who aren't consistent enough. You can't count on them because of injuries. You freshen it up with one of the best. And that's the step in the direction where I think Chelsea need to go. Jude Bellingham's going to be on the market. We know everyone's going to be wanting for him, but Chelsea's got to be in the mix. They've got to be in the mix. If they want to freshen up their midfield, they've got to be in the mix. And like you say, you've got a lot of fringe players there: Conor Gallagher, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Callum Hudson-Odoi on loan at Leverkusen, things like that, who can all be used as make weights in deals and things like that. And I think that's what Chelsea need to utilise, but it takes time. It's all come together as a bit of a mismatch at the minute, with the new owners and Tuchel leaving and Potter coming in and this player not playing and Zakaria never getting a game, but then comes on, plays the other day and that. So I just think in a year's time, another season, next season, I think Chelsea will be in a better place.
Yeah, and I mean, to close up, I guess you're obviously going to be confident for this game. What would be your score prediction, bro? Like you're obviously going, like, what do you expect from your team in that match?
I'm gonna say 2-1 City. That's because
Okay.
I literally have no clue who's going to play. I have no clue who Chelsea's going to play. I'm just looking forward to a good game of football. I'll be interested to see the reception Raheem Sterling gets.
Yes.
From the fans. I think some will clap him, some maybe not. So, but I think he'll get a good reception, and I'm just looking forward to a good game of football. It's the Premier League's intense, man. When you're top of the league and you go in Anfield and things like that, you get beat. You go in here, last minute winners against Fulham at home with 10 men and all that. It's intense, mate. But Carabao Cup, you can just relax a little bit. I went to Dortmund last week. 3 days in Dortmund. I loved it because the result didn't really matter. And we knew we was going through. So it was just a great game of football to enjoy, the fans and all that. But no, I mean, it's a Carabao Cup, mate, isn't it? You know what I mean? You should just put our name on it now.
It used to be us that used to take these Carling Cups and these FA Cups, but our recent record at Wembley's not been great. So I'm not sure if I even want to go through that again. But bro, it's been a pleasure, man. It's been a great preview.
No problem,
and yeah, we've spoken about some big topics and put perspective on some important things. And I think Chelsea are going in the right direction with the recruitment and hopefully long-term stability. But there are going to be some very, very sad results in the meantime, and we're going to have to ride through it. But for sure, we need to be ruthless, man, because if we're not, and if Potter does, for me, neglect certain areas of the pitch and he does get too cuddly, that's my only thing, is that some people have said maybe they pray that he's not too soft. And I think that would be the biggest, that would be the biggest mark on whether he can survive at a top club, because Arteta certainly wasn't soft. As much stick as I gave him, the guy said Guendouzi out, Aubameyang out, Ozil out. He was almost complete.
Don't forget, though, with Arteta, he's got the ear of Pep Guardiola. Yeah. You're not telling me a few of them decisions he didn't ring Pep and go, listen, got an issue here. Yeah. Aubameyang's done this. What do you reckon I should do? He's probably going to do that. Like I said about Arteta, he could have come in there as a rookie manager, start throwing his weight about, because he'd have been out faster than anything. So what he'd done is he took a step back and he played it nice and calm, and he let these players
play themselves out the door.
Play themselves out, and then make a rod for their own back. And then he went, well, there you go. And that's what he'd done. But you look at what he replaced him with now. He's got Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko, who both respect him as a coach, who worked with him at City, who are both winners. So if he's having a row in a dressing room, Jesus, Zinchenko, Ben White, people aren't going to back Arteta because he's their man. And that's what he's changed. He's changed the whole dynamic of the team. He's got winners in. And the dressing room now looks a lot happier place, younger players, refreshed, Saliba and all that. And you only look, they're doing it on the pitch. But like you say, to get to that point takes time. It's not a one transfer fix. It takes a long time.
Yeah, and Chelsea need to get to that point where their environment, because there's been too much drama at the club. And, even this weekend rattled me because of the antics of Aubameyang in small ways. Obviously not nowhere near as big as Lukaku, but still very triggering. We need to get to that point where the environment is actually what it needs to be, because there's too many years that go by where we keep saying these players don't have the right mentality. It wasn't even it wasn't always about tactics at the weekend. It was actually about the fact that they just did not seem to care. But yeah, we close on that. And listen, bro, I know Pep and Arteta got a good friendship, but don't go easy on them in this title race. Yeah, I don't want to see no Arsenal fans walking around London with their chest out. You man, make sure you handle business, all right?
Listen, they're entitled to get the chest out, man, because they're doing really well. But you all know that no leagues are won in November.
Yeah,
it's the business end of the season. I say it every year. That is when shit gets real, and we're seasoned pros at that. So they've got a fight on their hands. They might think, top at Christmas, it's going to go this way, that way. But after Christmas, when the bombs start dropping and shit starts happening.
But listen, guys, make sure you go subscribe to Big Steve, man. You already know him. Do you know what I mean? Legend out here in these streets. And yeah, man, just a pleasure to have him back on the channel and have a good conversation. This was good therapy. I needed this because I was pissed on London Club's carnage with Tobes, and I'm getting very aggravated with certain individuals in my team. So I need calming down. Do you know what I mean? We didn't record this too late. Obviously, the Gremlins can't be up too late, as Big Steve always says. So big up your damn selves.
Midnight, man. Don't feed them before midnight.
Make sure you guys subscribe to Steve. Links in the title and description. In a bit, people. Peace. Come on.